Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kashima Jackson. I'm a student at Concordia University, majoring in early childhood education.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what you guys are learning there at that school?
A recap of what we learned this week was about perceptual discrimination and learning.
Okay, tell me a little bit. I mean, what is that?
Perceptual demonstration and learning, in a nutshell, it is learning in a particular environment, practice, repetition, consistency. It occurs through sensory interaction within in the environment, as well as through practice and performing specific sensory tasks.
Okay, so I understand that you're a teacher. How is this useful at your job?
Well, I currently teach pre-kindergarten, and what I find is children of that age, they absorb a lot of information. And that age range between ages 4 to 6. And the brain is pretty much like a sponge or a dish towel. And I just give an example of how their little brains work. This glass of water represents all the information that they're being taught throughout the day, as far as like time management or recognizing letters or anything that being introduced to them. This is basically what the brain is doing. It absorbs all that information.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you got any other specific examples of like how this perceptual discrimination and learning is taking place in your class?
Well, I came across an article in the Guardian magazine, and it's basically titled "An Early Childhood Stimulation Key to Brain Development and Study." And what the article states is that an early childhood surrounded by books and educational toys, it will actually lead to a positive footprint within the child's brain and also through their teenage years. This particular research, it was a 2-decade study that the scientists did, and they found that more mental stimulation a child gets around age 4, the more developed the parts of the brain dedicated to language and cognition will be in the decades ahead. In my class, I make a strong effort to be consistent. Basically just to try to be an example, because children do lead by example. So I try to really work on my time management. They grow accustomed to routine. In a short amount of time, they already know, even though they can't tell time, they know that it's 8:15, it's time to clean up and get ready for AM snack. They know 8:30, it's time for snack. 9 o'clock, circle time. 9:45, outdoor play, and etc. Consistency. I'm finding that the consistency is very vital to learning and development.
Okay, that's pretty informative. There. What specifically are you doing in your class like that would demonstrate perceptual learning and stuff like that?
I have an example here of perceptual learning and discrimination. I use the alphabet. That's basically something that I've been working on with the kids, trying to get them to recognize either a different alphabet and actually trying to write them. And what I found was that many letters are very similar. Like, for example, C and G. You know, just teaching them like, okay, this is C. And then when we get to letter G, it's just C with a little extra.
Okay.
And then the same thing with O and Q. You got O, and then Q was just the O with a little line. And then P and F how similar that is. Basically, you kind of just do that and it'll be a P. Those little small details like that. All of that is already absorbed in the brain from all the learning. So eventually, as time goes on, the brain will automatically, it's like a stimulant. It'll click, and eventually the child will automatically know, okay, when this is a P, and that's a F. This is a D, a lowercase d, and that's a lowercase b. That's something that's like real difficult for this age group too. So, but according to what we've learned about perceptual learning and discrimination, that the brain will automatically lock this in eventually. So that's pretty much like, in a nutshell, what perceptual learning and discrimination is.
Okay, that's very insightful. I thank you for spending time with us and explaining all that to us.
Thank you.